roll call and verification of quorum. Chair Courts.
Lazo,
Present.
Rachetta,
Present.
Lessman,
Present.
Corelli.
Present.
Okay, Christopher Levine,
Present.
Stephen Levine,
Present.
Lim,
Present.
Seth. Okay, Kringle. Is that a present?
Yeah.
Okay, DeCara, Butler,
Present.
Connolly,
Present.
Umaroff,
Present.
Hamid,
Present.
Kaufman,
Present.
Larson, Memory,
Present.
Ellis,
Present.
Rose, Shannon, Barrios, Hall,
Here.
Jackson, Altahaj, Chauhan,
Present.
Naguib,
Present.
Wanjin,
Present.
Johnson,
Present.
Self, Weiderberg,
Present.
okay, Weiderberg, Green,
Present.
Hendry,
Present.
Borges,
Here.
Alcuda,
Present.
Benesh, Condoloro,
Present.
Lazo,
Present.
Ukes, Jimenez Valero,
Present.
Hashimi,
Present.
Galbo,
Present.
Pullman,
Present.
Brenda,
Present.
Richmond,
Present.
Chen,
Present.
Gorilla,
Present.
Vasquez,
Present.
Lipner.
Present.
Okay, 39 out of 50, quorum is verified.
All right. Approval of the minutes. I know you know this, Kirsten, but just the chat. Approval of the minutes. Everyone go ahead, take a look at last meeting's minutes, and Vasquez.
Motion to approve last meeting's minutes.
There's been a motion to approve last meeting's minutes. Are there any objections? Seeing none, last meeting's minutes are approved. Approval of the agenda. Everyone go ahead, take a look at this meeting's agenda. Alcuda.
Motion to approve today's agenda.
There's been a motion to approve today's agenda. Are there any objections? Seeing none, today's agenda is approved. Open forum. Is there anyone here wishing to speak in open forum? Seeing none. Announcements from the student body president, President Lister.
Thank you, Speaker Pullman. Hey, everyone. Hope you all had a good week since last Thursday. As for myself, I had my first Board of Trustees meeting this week on Monday and Tuesday. Additionally, today, the Board of Governors had their committee day here in the Student Union. So I was able to meet the student body president from UF, John Brinkman, who also serves as the student representative on the Board of Governors. Tomorrow, I'm going to show him around UCF and we'll meet more about how our goals can align. Also yesterday, myself and Wyatt, our athletics coordinator, met with Alex Casanaro from athletics to continue discussions on Wyatt's tailgate ideas, such pep rallies, and I also set up a time with Alex and Jimmy from athletics to iron out our details for Alexander Brawley's, the vice president's RSO sections at Game Day initiative. These last 2 weeks, coordinators from our executive branch and directors worked hard to submit budget proposals to myself, Alex, and Kylie, And by the end of the week, we will have a finalized budget for our executive branch. Also this week, I asked our executive branch for what committees they would like to join, and I will appoint them as follows. So for the Asian Pacific Islander and American Caucus, Jasmine, our diversity and inclusion coordinator, will serve there. For the Disability Caucus, Kylie Samillo will serve. For the Latin and Hispanic Caucus, Marco Neto, our digital media coordinator, will serve there. For our Women's Caucus, both Jasmine and Kylie will serve there. Military and Veterans Caucus, Kylie will serve there. And for the Sustainability Caucus, Bella, our Sustainability and Innovation Coordinator, will serve there. Also, lastly, good luck to Interim Chief Justice Daniel Rivera this week or tonight for his ENA interview and confirmation. Thank you, everyone, and never hesitate to reach out to me.
Are there any questions for the student body president? Seeing none. Hall.
Yeah, just a quick question, because I know obviously the Board of Trustees meeting happened recently, but more so to you, to the president, do you know when like the minutes of that are going to be available? Just because, I mean, speaking candidly, there are already some articles about some decisions that the Board of Trustees decided to make around camping on campus, as well as there was a concern about how a new policy that was voted in could potentially impact transgender students on campus. So speaking candidly, there hasn't really been a lot of word. Obviously, I know it just happened, so that's not necessarily on you, but more when that'll be available and or some of those concerns that have already been raised by other students might be able to get addressed.
So as to my knowledge, I'm not sure when the minutes will come out. I'm assuming because right now the people who work in the board office, the board relations office, such as Lauren and Carmen, they're handling right now the Board of Governors meeting that's going on today, and like that happened today and tomorrow. So I'm assuming next week that those should be available. As for the Chapter 4 regulations, yeah, those were approved. And regarding the Chapter 5 regulations that were approved, those came down from the Board of Governors and legislation. So there really wasn't anything that we could do about that.
All right, Larson.
President voting.
Chair Larson, present voting, so noted at 6:09 p.m. Are there any more questions for the student body president? All right, seeing none. Announcements from the student body Vice President Brawley.
Hi, good evening, everyone. I hope you're all doing well. A bit of a slow week for me this week as I was working with the coordinators and directors on their budgets and plans for this upcoming year, as well as finalizing our retreat schedule. Unfortunately, this week in particular, my meeting with PD fell through given how busy they are with the BOT and the BOG. However, that'll be rescheduled for next week. I'm also meeting with my ADSB vice chair on Tuesday. I'm currently in talks right now with individuals from business services regarding some issues that were raised to me this week by Rosen students regarding their hot food vending machine. And then yesterday I met with the executive board of the esports club regarding making the esports lab safer, more accessible, and open to the student body, and on what steps we can take to make sure that we are reconnecting our relationship that we formerly had with Coca-Cola for that lab. That's it for me.
Are there any questions for Vice President Brawley? All right, seeing none. Comptroller's report, Comptroller Samillo.
Hi guys. So for me, I met with the treasurer of UNF this week, and we kind of just talked about durable goods and some other things that we may have that are similar or differ by the ANSF business office, stuff that we track and that sort. And then we also, this whole week, have been going over budget packets for all the people that are in exec, all of our cabinet, and have approved those and are now in the works of kind of just making sure everything gets fulfilled. And as for the numbers, FAO sits at negative 24,578.65 with a reversions of 6.01%, and CRT is negative 35,322 with 0.36 with a reversion of 3.50, and these numbers will be different after July 1st as the new quarter starts. So if there are any questions about these numbers, they need to be asked today.
All right, are there any questions for Comptroller Samillo? All right, seeing none. Attorney General's report, AG Polero.
So John couldn't be here tonight, so I'm going to give his report for him, and I'm just quoting this straight from the agenda. Hey, Senate, if you want to schedule a meeting with myself, or if you know of any statutes that need to be revised, please feel free to email me at sga_ag@ucf.edu.
Are there any questions regarding the AG report? Seeing none. Cabinet Forum. First, we have Director of Student Affairs, Jerry Benitez.
Hi, Senate. Have to be giving my first report as the Director of Student Affairs. This past month, I've been acclimating to the position and as well as assisting the SITS coordinators I oversee and just any questions they had about payroll, their initiatives. I've been scheduling one-on-ones with them just to tell me what specific plans they have that they want to bring to the table, whether that be their own personal initiatives or on the Bryson Brawley's initiatives that they ran on. So of course we've been doing that. I also, on my end, I've been meeting with all my liaison offices, just introducing myself and discussing like plans on collaboration, like how the previous Director of Student Affairs did, just continue that collaboration. I also have had 2 meetings already with CAB and Late Nights about Winter Wonderland. We settled on a date, so the date is going to be Thursday, November 21st. It's from 7 to 10 p.m. on Memory Mall. So just as the semester goes on, we'll just continue more of that planning. And other than that, that's it for me. Thank you.
You guys always put Winter Wonderland on a Thursday. We can't go. But are there any questions for the Director of Student Affairs? Seeing none. Director of Communications, Anna Valek.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, I think.
Okay, awesome. Hello, this is my first report. I'm so excited to be here. This month I've been working with our communications team to get ahead and make sure that we are planned throughout the year. I've also been reaching out to different campus organizations to work on that external collaboration. Last week I sent an email to a lot of student government agents, and then Speaker Pullman should be reaching out to you about how to collaborate with her to make sure that we can get your request fulfilled. If you have any questions about that, reach out to me. And then as more events and initiatives are being posted, please share them to your audience and spread the word. We'd love your support in that. And that's all for me.
Are there any questions for the Director of Communications? Seeing none. All right. Announcements from the Interim Chief Justice, Daniel Rivera.
Hello, Senate. Not much from judicial, just our caucus appointments. So I hereby appoint Justice Bella Pizzera, Justice Victoria Marie Villadares, Justice Samantha Nero, Justice Taylor Calfee, Justice Madeline Grady, and Justice Victoria Rosario to the Women's Caucus, and Justice Samantha Nero, Justice Victoria Rosario, Justice Crystal Poyes to the Latin Hispanic Caucus, Justice Victoria Lopez to the LGBTQ+ caucus, and Justice Victoria Marie Villadares to the APIA caucus. That's it for me. Thanks.
Are there any questions for the Interim Chief Justice? All right, seeing none. Announcements from the Supervisor of Elections, none. Announcements from the Activity and Service Fee Committee Chair, none. Announcements from the Scholarship Committee Chair, none. Caucus reports, none. Announcements from the Senate President. All right, just a few things from me. So we won't have a meeting next week because it's the 4th of July. It's also a university holiday, but I was gonna cancel it anyways. The 4th and 5th are both university holidays, so there'll be no business those days. All right, and then whether or not committees meet, the Thursday committees, the committee chairs already know this. They can't meet. DeCara.
President voting.
Chair DeCara, present and voting, so noted at 6:17 p.m. All right.
President, I put it in the chat, but just in case, sorry.
Okay, Senator Al-Tahaj, present and voting, so noted at 6:17 p.m., just so that's spoken out in the minutes. All right, yeah, but I left it up to the committee chairs whether or not they wanted to cancel. I think most of them have, just depending on business and everything like that. But for the chairs, just make sure you let me know if you're canceling. I think that's it for that. All right, and then the caucus appointments are up. If everyone, I mean, I feel like I did it, but if you know you sent your appointment to me, if you want to just check the chat I put it in the bottom, or not the chat, check the agenda at the bottom and make sure that I did it correctly. I didn't add you to anything you weren't supposed to be in, and I added you to your correct ones. If you want to just double check my work, that would be great. I did a lot of it all at one time, so if I accidentally made a mistake, that's my bad. Just let me know, or honestly, you could just correct it yourself. But yeah, just make sure everything looks right. Those meetings next week will be Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Again, Thursday, Friday are university holidays, so we cannot have meetings those days. Also, I just quickly wanted to go over decorum because I think I've been getting a lot of questions about what is deemed decorum and how do I uphold that. And so I will say for me, and it's different for every speaker, I mainly ask myself two questions. Is this germane to conversation? Is this relevant to what we're saying? And I also ask, is this personal? Is this a personal attack? Is this a personal question? Anything like that. Those are my two main questions. Some things don't always apply to those questions. And a lot of the time I know based on the context of the sentence or what was said before, I'll know in the moment, like that's against decorum. I know it's not always a helpful point, but it is sometimes a lot of time you just know in the moment, like, oh, that wasn't right. Things like that. If anyone has any more specific questions, new senators specifically, but even returning senators, if anyone has any questions, please feel free to reach out to me because it definitely is a weird gray area, and I feel like I am getting the hang of it. So please let me know. But yeah, I mainly just ask myself those two questions. Is this germane? And is it a personal attack? If it's relevant, it's good. If it's a personal attack, obviously that's not a good thing. So yeah, but obviously if anyone, again, has any more specific questions about that, please let me know because I know it's new territory for some of us. So yeah. All right, and for my appointments, I hereby appoint myself for acting chair of the Asian Pacific Islander American Caucus, the Military and Veteran Caucus, and the Women's Caucus. I hereby appoint Pro Tempore Morset for acting chair of the Black Caucus, LGBTQ+ Caucus, Arab Ad Hoc Caucus, and Intercampus and Transfer Ad Hoc Caucus. And I hereby appoint President Lister for the acting chair of the Disability Caucus, Latin Hispanic Caucus, and the Sustainability Ad Hoc Caucus. Are there any questions for myself? All right. Seeing none, Internal Legislative Assistant Report, Ayale Alcuda.
Good evening, Senate. Hope you all are doing well and having a great summer so far. Last week, I sent out a form to all committee leadership, which will aid the Speaker's office in collecting specific feedback into changes that would be made to the SG website. I know many committees have already begun this discussion in their meetings and gathering this feedback, so keep up the great work. If you haven't begun those discussions already, please aim to bring it up in your next planned meeting. I know next week a lot of you aren't meeting, so just the week after that is fine as well. But just submit those changes as soon as possible so that we can get all that feedback in and input it as timely as possible. And also, the SGLC application has been made live on Night Connect for the upcoming year. So if you know anyone who may be interested in applying, please let them know. I'm looking forward to a great SGLC year. And as always, please don't ever hesitate to reach out if you need anything from me. Happy 4th and enjoy the time that we'll have off.
Are there any questions for Ayale Alcuda? All right. Seeing none. External Legislative Assistant Report, ELA Richmond.
Good evening, Senate. Still no email access, crying, throwing up. I've started to send it newsletters and then have a fire, like firework, 4th of July.
Are there any questions for the ELA? All right, seeing none. Senate President Pro Tempore report, Pro Temp Morset. She may or may not be here. I think she has a work event. Yeah, I don't think she's here. Okay. All right, I'll just read it out. Hello, everyone. I've started creating an outline for new senator orientations to ensure that they all get the relevant information and resources they need. Still making progress on the initiative tracker with caucuses starting. Be sure to contact organizations/RSOs that support and align with the caucus's mission statement, both in and outside of UCF. Are there any questions regarding the Pro Temp report? Seeing none. All right, I'll add, because I forgot to say this in my announcements, that I am working on I'm calling it like a caucus cheat sheet. That's like what I call like everything when I try to simplify things, you know. But basically just going to outline agencies to reach out to and adequate time periods whenever you need help planning, things like that. But I am also wanting to get in contact with the heads of agencies to make sure that I'm giving everyone accurate information. So I'll be working on that just so that the caucuses know and we can respect the other agencies and their times. But yeah, any questions for the Pro Tempore reports? All right, seeing none. Deputy Pro Tempore of Legislative Affairs report, Zelag Butler.
Hello, everyone. I hope all is going well. I'm unable to access NightConnect right now, but when I have access, I'll be looking over the previous bill submitted, and I'll be contacting fiscal leadership about having a meeting very soon, so please look out for that.
Are there any questions for the DLEG? All right, seeing none. Deputy Pro Tempore of Senate Relations report, Sir Lazo.
Hi, everybody. Hope your summer review classes are going well. Do your financial aid activities, get your monies, please. Now that caucuses are starting, reach out to me if you have any questions. I have a lot of experience in caucuses because I was like women's caucus chair and I also won a bunch of them. So just reach out to me if you're a little bit confused. I'm gonna try to pop in for as many meetings, like caucus meetings as I can, just to see how they're working in their new formats now that it's a student government poll thing, just to make sure that everybody's collaborating and it's all working out good. And lastly, I'm going to be working on bringing in some snacks that everybody can eat. So let me know if you have any dietary restrictions or preferences for snacks in the fall. Literally anything. I can get you gluten-free snacks, dairy-free, whatever you guys need. I want everybody to be able to participate. And then lastly, reach out to me with any questions or if you just want to talk. Life can get stressful, I get it. So if you just want to reach out, go ahead.
Are there any questions for Sir Lazo? All right. Seeing none. Old business, none. Fiscal committee reports, CRT Chair Adam Caringle.
So during this week in committee, lovely. During this week in committee, we saw total allocations. It was 56, we approved 56, 024, 29, 30, 34, 35, 36. We postponed allocation 56, 031, and 32, and we PPI 56, 023, 25, 27, and 33.
Are there any questions for the CRT chair? All right, seeing none. FAO Chair Larson.
We saw one allocation in committee today. It was 5607 and it was passed. That's all for me.
Are there any questions for the FAO chair? All right, seeing none. ORS committee Chair Rose. I don't know if he's here. Okay, I guess he's not here, so we're gonna go with none for that one. Fiscal legislation, none. internal committee caucus time, ENA 20 minutes. So I recess this meeting at 6:27 p.m. We will reconvene at 6:47 p.m. And I think Brody's going to do the breakout room thing.
Yeah, give me just a second. I'm going to set up the breakout room for everybody. If you are not in the committee, please feel free to join the breakout room. Everybody else stay here.
Just making sure, Brody, you want ENA in here and everyone else in the breakout room?
Correct.
Where am I seeing the breakout room at? Is it in the chat or?
I think he's working on it.
All right. I don't know if I'm just an idiot, but like I can't find where to do the breakout rooms. It's not where it normally is. So if you're not in the committee, just stay here, but just make sure you're muted and feel free to ignore the committee meeting that's happening. But you'll just still be here.
Can you repeat that? Because I was like cutting in and out.
Sorry, yeah. You feel free to go ahead and start. Everybody that's not in the committee, you'll still be in this meeting, but just stay muted. And then once we're done, we're done. For whatever reason, I can't find the breakout rooms, and I don't know why. So.
All right. Okay. All right. I see Daniel's here. Let me open up the ENA one real quick.
So sorry, real quick. I found it. I'm on mobile, so I probably won't be able to direct Brody to it, but can I open a breakout room?
You could try, yeah. See if it works.
Then you would have to like unbreak out the room too, right? If you like made the breakout room.
I mean, yeah, see how it works, see if it works.
Okay.
Block me. My bad.
Okay. I'm gonna start. Andrew, are you here?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay. And Adam, are you here?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay. And then one person from the pro temp's office.
I'm present.
Okay, just making sure. All right, I'm calling this meeting to order at 6:30 p.m. The agenda is in our little agenda folder. It should be updated with everything. So just looking through there. Roll call and verification of quorum. Vice Chair Chiazzo.
Chair DeCara.
Present.
Senator Kringle.
Present.
Pro Temp Representative.
Present.
I think, I don't know, is Kirsten here? Or is she?
Yeah, I'm here.
Are we going ahead with what you believe with the ENA rep, for like LJR representative, or have you guys not decided it yet?
Nobody else has gone for it, so I can sit in. I just don't know if I have to do elections or if I could just do it as chair.
I believe you can do it just as chair. I believe that's what statute dictates.
Okay, I can be LJR rep then.
LJR
Okay.
representative.
Okay, so what, that's
5 out of 3. Quorum is verified.
okay. Approval of last meeting's minutes. Is there a motion?
Motion to approve last meeting's minutes.
Is there a motion to approve last meeting's minutes? Any objections? Seeing none. Motion to approve today's agenda.
Motion to approve the agenda.
Is there a motion to approve today's agenda? Any objections? Seeing none. Announcements from me. Chief Justice ENA. That's it. Nothing else. Any questions? I don't know. Announcements from the Vice Chair.
Hi, everyone. I know we're a small committee, so I just want to reiterate how important today is. So as we gather to discuss the potential confirmation of the nominee for Chief Justice for the Judicial Council, I just want to remind you that the Chief Justice not only leads the Judicial Council, but also ensures that student rights are upheld across various contexts, such as parking appeals and academic integrity hearings. This position demands a leader who is impartial, fair, and deeply committed to the principles of justice as prescribed by our student body constitution and judicial rules of procedure. As we proceed with the confirmation hearing, be sure to grasp responsibilities associated with this role and make sure to ask insightful questions and approach this confirmation with the seriousness it deserves. I know, Kirsten, I know that you aren't normally here during ENA meetings, so I usually would provide a list of possible questions you can ask the appointees. However, you can ask the appointees any questions from their resume, from their proposal, or from statutes, whatever you would like. But all the materials can be found in the ENA Teams Drive. And if you can't access it, just let me know and I'll just text me and I'll send you the things. But yeah, those are my announcements.
All right. Announcements from committee members. Seeing none. Announcements from non-committee members. Seeing none. Old business, none. New business confirmations. The materials should be right there. Is there a motion for speech, question, and debate? Motion for 5-minute speech, 10-minute questioning, 10-minute debate. There's a motion for a 5, 10, 10. Any objections? Seeing none, we have a 5, 10, 10. Let me get my little clock out and I'll time you. Okay.
Can everyone hear me?
Yeah, we can all hear you. You have 5 minutes, my bad. You have 5 minutes whenever you are ready.
All right. Good evening, members of ENA. First off, I want to say thank you so much for accommodating me tonight and seeing me during caucus because of a prior commitment. It is greatly appreciated. My name is Daniel Rivera. I am a South Floridian native and a third-year honors student at UCF, majoring in political science with minors in diplomacy and intelligence and national security. Today, I am seeking confirmation to be the permanent Chief Justice of Student Government, a role that I am humbled to have been selected for. My journey in student government began almost 2 years ago in SGLC, where I was homesick and incredibly scared. SGLC eventually gave me a home here at UCF, and quickly through the program, I realized my fascination for the work of the judicial branch. Being selected then for the Judicial Leadership Council felt like I had won the lottery. Halfway into that program, I was the first of my class to be selected and confirmed as an agent to Associate Justice Seat 3, and I can proudly say that the novelty of the work has not worn off. Throughout my tenure, I've been able to see the office of the Chief Justice from every angle of the judicial branch. As an SGLCer, I was able to shadow former Chief Justice Sage Kerr in the middle of a fiscal appeal, some of the first for the judicial branch. As a JLCer, former Chief Justice and now a very close friend, Lizzie Beth Silva, took me under her wing as my JLC mentor. As an Associate Justice, the Chief is my leader. And as the external assistant, I was an advisor and a support system in any and all matters that leadership faced. And as the interim, I've been working hard to keep the judicial branch live and well with 9 Associate Justice selections and confirmations, keeping connections with our key campus partners, and operating all the administrative behind the scenes. I'm incredibly proud of the incredible expansion that the judicial branch saw last year. However, with some great expansion came some fatigue. I have laser focused my initiatives and platform to reignite the efficacy and efficiency of the judicial branch. My proximity to leaders of management and of many institutions have edified my ability to view the branch as a living thing. It ebbs and flows and requires maintenance. I look forward to being able to lead the Judicial Council and use my skills to ensure a consistent and high caliber of service for the student body. Thank you for your time, and I look forward to your questions. I yield the remainder of my time.
All right, we are now in questioning. We now have 10 minutes. So any senator wishing to ask a question. Y'all at least give me like 3.
Yeah, give me 1 second. My word is glitching out.
Yeah, I know that the materials were loading for a second, so maybe it's just, I'm gonna blame it on that. But I would like to hear something soon. Yeah, I see you have a ad hoc budget committee. Is that something that's completely necessary to create a committee for, or would it be better just to have the justices all just meet together once to be able to spend the money together?
Yeah, so the way that the branch operates, obviously we have our service arms and our general council meetings, but our initiatives get done in committees. Those are our working groups of smaller justices where their interests and skills are focused onto one particular project group of the area. The reason why I wanted to make the ad hoc budget committee is because we have a $3,000 allocation this year from the ASF committee, and that is separate from our general operating budget that leadership technically operates. And I wanted to have a place where our sitting associates, who are at our most junior level in the branch, still being able to operate in some fiscal capacity because they're also fiscally trained in those regions as well. So it's not something that's completely necessary as far as operations go. You know, the external could do it, but I think it's a great way to incentivize participation within the branch.
Just for the minutes, Daniel, was it 300 or 3,000?
3,000.
Okay, thank you.
Deputy Lazo.
Can you elaborate a little bit more on your plans, like how exactly judicial would work in a Senate law retreat?
I'm sorry, can you repeat that?
Can you elaborate a little bit more on like how your Senate like fall retreats would work?
Oh, yeah, for sure. I mentioned it before, and please stop me if I'm not answering the question the right way. There was some comments made that there's not too much literacy on what judicial does, and some of our operations. So I would love to work with Speaker Pullman, to not like insert myself, but present at the Senate retreat and be able to provide some background and information on what we do, so it's not as mystified as unfortunately it sounds to be sometimes.
Chair Quartz.
Can you go more into detail about your initiative for the parking appeal circuits, please?
Yeah, absolutely. So this is a little bit more of something that's unseen, because it is a responsibility of the Chief Justice. So every time we get a request for a parking appeal, there is sort of a loop around that has to happen and make sure everything's on timeline. So the way the portal works to schedule something is something with Parking and Transportation Services, but after a couple days or after it's past the timeline, that'll lock out. And so to make something it's very complicated because then I have to reach out to Parking Services, then Parking Services has to reach out to UCFIT. UCFIT gets back to PTS, and PTS has to get back to me, and that just delays a student's appeal further and further. And so sometimes that just also delays our scheduling of parking appeals. And so typically the way it's been handled, it's been, you know, hey, what justices are available on this day for 2 appeals or 3 appeals. And while it's worked in the past, I am more of a systematic person when it comes to my thinking. And so the way I've decided to make that initiative is to split the council into 2 groups. One of them will be 5 associates and an assistant chief, and the other will be 6 associates and an assistant chief. And so they will meet bi-weekly on their scheduled day. Group 1 will decide, hey, it's Mondays at 6 p.m. or Mondays at 2 p.m. for me. And they will meet bi-weekly so that there is a consistent meeting of adjudications for those appeals, because that makes it easier on my end as far as scheduling those on the administrative side, but also making sure that we are hearing those appeals timely for the students.
Deputy Lazo.
Can you name some of the current ways to ensure accountability amongst both the Chief Justices and the Assistant Justices? And if you have any recommendations for how to make sure that there is more accountability?
Yeah, as far as accountability goes, I think it's more of a informal review, so to speak. So one thing that I've grown up in the branch seeing is that we like to set our goals early. And we've always had a sort of dynamic of being able to check on each other. And leadership holds a great weight and oversight of our associates and obviously the assistants as well. And then as far as accountability goes, we did in fact draft a code of conduct and a disciplinary statute that I have been, I guess, charged in the transition binder to have our council vote on once we are full and completely confirmed. So right now it's a little bit more informal, but I'm hoping to get something more solidified in our judicial rules of procedure come fall.
Debbie Lazo,
Two, if I may.
you may.
As a follow-up, can you name some of those, if you can, if it's not like confidential, some of those proposed methods in what you're going to vote on soon?
Yeah, it's really, really long, and I haven't read it since like May. And so it's sort of just outlining and delineating the process of what any disciplinary hearings would look like for judicial. And then it's also outlining a very specific code of conduct. And a little bit of background on that, when we partnered with USF, we talked a lot about what our internal mechanisms look like, and they have a really good way that we decided to sort of gather from and mirror. And yeah, I can get back to you with specifics of those documents once we pass them through judicial and or as a draft if you would like to see those. But sorry, I couldn't answer that more specifically.
Alrighty, and then for my second question, how does the Chief Justice see the impartiality of the Judicial Council, such as like making sure that they're removing themselves from any sort of conflict of interest?
Yeah, for sure. So as far as the position or the office of the Chief Justice goes, the Chief Justice is a non-voting member of the council. So that leaves us at 13 votes, ensuring that there's always an odd adjudication number. And then as far as the associates go, we do have a responsibility when we're confirmed to our seat in the first place to disclose any conflict of interests and then recuse ourselves in those positions. That's also something if we, know there's a background or a situation with one of our justices, leadership is more than capable of being able to approach the justice, ask for more information, and go from there.
Vice Chair Criazzo.
Do you mind taking over minutes really quickly so I can ask my question?
Wait a second.
Cross. Sorry about that. Did you have it? Okay. My question for you is, can you name some of the duties and responsibilities as outlined in Title V as the Chief Justice?
Yeah, sure. So one of them is that we obviously just must preside over the Judicial Council. It's appoint and oversee the Assistant Chief Justices and appoint and oversee all of the hearing procedures for any and all hearings before the Judicial Council. And that includes all of our student service arms and then obviously our judicial review hearings.
Thank you.
Sorry, my vice chair days are not really that good. So I'll ask my question. You served as external. Do you have any idea for your external and internal? Do you either want to change them, keep them where they are, or do something new?
I personally really like the system. So one thing that I was talking to Allison and Bryce when I was being interviewed for this position is that I sometimes have a little trouble asking for help. But one thing that I tried to be for former Chief Justice Silva is a support system. And I think the internal and external work very closely together on many things, especially SGLC, but they also have very different responsibilities. And so being able to delegate when necessary and have that structure there is something that I really appreciated being able to do and something that I think I would also appreciate having as the Chief Justice.
Any other questions? Right. Oh, Chair Kringle.
Motion to debate.
All right. Is there a motion? There's a motion to debate. Any objections? Seeing none, we are now in debate. We have 10 minutes. Anyone wish to speak in debate? Debbie Lazo.
Yeah, so I don't see any reason why we shouldn't vote this person in. I really do think as a candidate, they both have the necessary experience. It's only logical for them to move from external assistant to Chief Justice. I really do think that is an important experience knowledge level to have. as well as being able to answer all the questions here to the best of his abilities. Obviously, not being able to verbatim word vomit anything from that has been read in like months is understandable. Essentially it's the core of what they're passionate about and what they're planning on changing that is important. A lot of his initiatives, including making sure that Senate and other branches are aware of what goes on in judicial, is a really great way to encourage collaboration between the branches, and also look forward to the accountability, as that's something that student government really needs to be on top of. So I'll be voting in favor.
Anyone else? Chair Courts.
Okay, you guys can hear me, right? Okay, I will be voting in favor of this candidate as well. To echo what Deputy Lazo said, I do like how fleshed out and I like how fleshed out this candidate's initiatives are. I'm really excited to see what he does.
Vice Chair Piazza.
I will be voting in favor of this candidate. This candidate answered all of the questions. Excellent. I've had the pleasure of working with this candidate in my time as a justice, and I'm happy to see this candidate being appointed for the position. So with that, I move to vote.
There's been a motion to move to vote. Any objections? Seeing none, we are now in voting procedures. I'll start with me. I'll be voting yes. Vice Chair Chiazzo.
I will be voting yes.
Chair Kringle.
Yes.
In this case, Chair Courts,
Yes.
and then Pro Tem Prep.
Yes.
With a vote count of 5-0, you have been confirmed by E&A.
Thank you.
All right, let's just wrap this up. I know you said something too. Member discussion.
Just to put like thought in everyone's mind. Maybe we can consider switching the meeting time possibly to get more members, but that's just a thought. But yeah, but we don't have time to discuss it. But yeah, just think about it.
I will, yeah. That's something I'll definitely look into. Maybe move it to Thursdays if like some people do their stuff on Thursdays. Maybe it will change with the fall and other caucuses. People move their schedules around, so we'll figure that out as like things start forming and become solid. All right, miscellaneous business. Seeing none. Is there a motion?
Motion to adjourn by roll call.
There's been a motion to adjourn by roll call. Any objections? Seeing none. Vice Chair Chiazzo.
It's same as initial, 5 out of 3.
All right, I adjourn this meeting at 6:49 p.m.
Okay. We can all turn our cameras back on. And then I'll go ahead and reconvene. Okay. All right, I reconvene this meeting at 6:50 p.m. Guys, please turn your cameras on. Okay. Rose.
President voting.
Chair Rose, present and voting, so noted at 6:50 p.m. Okay. Internal committee reports, E&A Chair DeCara.
Chief Justice was approved. Now that we're basically kind of done with majority, basically like 98% of E&A has done, we'll do election commission, but we're gonna look at like E&A structure, legislation, and then possibly filling open seats. So just other different ways that we could do external stuff, but also internal things.
All right, are there any questions for the E&A chair? Rose, I'm assuming you're leaving your hand up, but do you have a question? Okay. Okay. Gap Chair Vasquez.
Hi everyone. So this week during GAP, we added to our voting information research for the voter guides that we're making. Under Chair Hamid's announcements, you'll find a when to meet. So please fill it out if you're interested in learning about writing legislation. So we're planning a workshop. It'll be hybrid, and especially if you're new, I encourage you guys to join us. Please fill it out even if you can't go. We also reviewed changes we wanted to make to our committee descriptions and frequently asked questions for the student government website, which we will be finalizing and submitting to ILA Al-Quda. I have a meeting planned with GAC Polera to discuss the capital timelines and ideas for collaboration this week. So like next week. And I'm looking forward to sharing all of that information with you guys. And I've also decided to cancel next week's GAP meeting, which I'll be sending a Teams announcements to remind everyone.
All right. Are there any questions for Chair Vasquez? Okay. Seeing none. LJR Chair Courts.
Hello, everybody. I hope you're enjoying your week. Today during committee, we saw one absence and one blanket excuse, both of which were approved, and started our read-through of Title VII / look through the LJR FAQ page on the SG website. And we will not be having LJR next week as it is on Thursday.
Are there any questions for Chair Courts? All right. Seeing none. SBA Chair Hamid.
Hi, everyone. I hope you're all having a good week. So this week, SBA met with Meredith Varner and Jennifer Fazal from UCF Housing to discuss possible updates to the roommate matching system and questions. We have a pretty good plan to move forward with that, so I'm excited to see how it pans out. Please sign up for the legislation workshop that me and Chair Vasquez are hosting. Hopefully we can pick an official date by Friday if enough people sign up. So the when to meet's there. Please sign up. It's not just for people who want to write legislation, but also if you're confused on what legislation means and like what you should be looking for when reading it, which you all do as senators. So it will be very useful, I promise. Also with caucuses starting up, I'm hopefully going to attend all the first meetings, or at least one meeting of a caucus in a semester. So I can talk to new leadership about collaborations between SBA. I'll also email all new caucus leadership once chairs have been elected to set up an official meeting to discuss possible proclamations and events that they may need help with. I met with the safety and transportation coordinator on Tuesday. Don't know why I said Monday, to discuss some upcoming projects and ways we can collaborate throughout the year. And no meeting next week for those in SBA because they deserve rest. I'll also send out a reminder next week so that people don't forget.
All right, are there any questions for Chair Hamid? All right, seeing none. Confirmations, we have Daniel Rivera for the Chief Justice position. Is there a motion? Metellus.
Motion for 5-minute speeches, 10-minute questioning, and 10-minute debate.
There's been a motion for a 5, 10, 10. Are there any objections? Seeing none, make sure you're looking in the confirmation materials. And you have 5 minutes whenever you're ready, Daniel.
Thank you. Good evening, Senate. For those of you that I have not had the pleasure to personally meet yet, my name is Daniel Rivera. I am a native South Floridian and a third-year honors student at UCF, majoring in political science with minors in diplomacy and intelligence and national security. Today, I'm here seeking confirmation to be the permanent Chief Justice of Student Government, a critical role that I'm humbled to have been selected for. My journey at student government began almost 2 years ago in SGLC when I was incredibly sick and incredibly homesick and scared. Wow. SGLC gave me a home here at UCF, and quickly through that program, I realized my fascination for the work of the judicial branch. Being selected for JLC felt like I had won the lottery, and halfway into that program, I was the first of my class to be selected and confirmed to Associate Justice C3. I can proudly say that the novelty of that work has not worn off. As the 23 and 24 Judicial Council began, I was confirmed as the External Assistant Chief Justice, the Judicial Branch's Chief Outreach Officer and Co-Coordinator for SGLC. This role gave me a clear and wide view at the intricacies of the branch and our efforts to connect and reach the student body. Most importantly, it allowed me the privilege of being able to co-lead the true beating heart of student government, SGLC. I always say this when I talk about our program because the SGLCers are the ones who will eventually fill the ranks of our institution. I'm very proud to see many of you from Allison and I's cohort sit now as senators, justices, and members of cabinet. Throughout my tenure, I've been able to see the office of the Chief Justice from every angle. As an SGLCer, I was able to shadow former Chief Justice Sage Kerr in the middle of a fiscal appeal. As a JLCer, former Chief Justice and now a very close friend, Lizzie Silva, took me under her wing as my JLC mentor. As an associate, the chief was my leader. As the external assistant, I was an advisor and a support system in any and all matters that leadership faced. And as the interim, I've been working hard to keep the judicial branch alive and well with 9 associate justices selected and confirmed, connecting with our key campus partners, and keeping our administrative operations running behind the scenes. I'm incredibly proud of the expansion the judicial branch saw last year. We had a historic high of requests for impartial advising for student conduct and academic integrity, our grade appeals and parking appeals processes. We also launched our new Title IX peer guidance, reimagining one of our service arms to be more effective and accessible for the student body. We also pioneered our new partnership with USF Supreme Court and looking forward to much, much more. However, with all that great expansion did come some fatigue. I've laser focused my initiatives and our platform to reignite the efficiency and efficacy of our branch. My proximity to leaders and management of many institutions have edified my ability to view the branch as a living thing. It ebbs and flows, but must be maintained. I look forward to being able to lead the council and use my skills to ensure the highest caliber of service for our student body. For my past 3 confirmations before the Senate, I have always spoken about my reason why. My parents' life work in ministry and charity in South Florida enshrined service as a core pillar early in my life. My mother relentlessly taught that service was never to find gold or glory, but to always put our community before ourselves. And we all stand here for one purpose, to serve our community. Today, hopefully my last confirmation before the Senate, I pledge to lead the judicial branch humbly and passionately, just as my predecessors have and my successors will. Thank you for your time tonight. I look forward to the questions, and thank you, Madam Speaker. I yield the remainder of my time.
All right, we're now in line for questioning. You guys have 10 minutes. I'll go Shen.
Looking at your initiatives, what does the new Knight Connect form entail?
Yeah, so my at least vision for it is to sort of mirror the way we have fiscal appeals come through. So when I mentioned that I was shadowing the former Chief Justice when they were in the middle of a fiscal appeal, it was actually very new because no one on the branch had then seen a fiscal appeal come through. So they had to come up with the whole process and the whole system of that. And just for some background, there was a Chief Justice way back when, and I had spoken to Brody about this to get some history behind it. They for some reason built the JRP to mirror a actual legal system. And in my opinion, that's a little bit hindering the access for judicial review. And so that initiative is sort of grounded in accessibility for our student body, but also our student government agents to be able to use that service arm that we have. Thank you for the question.
All right, Richmond.
Hey, how would you handle a situation where a justice had an ethical violation?
Obviously it's a delicate situation, and I think there's levels to it. So we did have some instances last year where that occurred, and there were situations where leadership was able to come in, formulate a plan, have a discussion, and handle it at different levels. So obviously, if it's an easy conversation, hey, this needs to change, this needs to happen, and then if there's sort of a repeated behavior, then we do move to a more formal process of sometimes having a hearing or other mechanisms. I had mentioned in ENA that we do have a draft of disciplinary statutes and a code of conduct that it's one of our first orders of businesses as soon as the entire council is confirmed to vote on and include in our procedures. Thank you for the question.
Benesh.
Present and voting.
All right, Senator Benesh, present and voting, so noted at 7:01 p.m. Lazo.
Can you explain to the Senate the primary responsibilities of the Chief Justice as outlined in like the constitutional governing documents?
Yeah, the primary responsibility of the chief is to serve as the leader of the branch. In many cases, that tends to be the administrative head. So it's scheduling all of the appeals, scheduling any hearings, being the recipient of requests for any advising services and any of our student service arms. It's also just leading the branch as far as the jurisdiction of the branch goes. So interpreting the Constitution and protecting student rights.
Hendry.
Yeah, I'm actually curious about the drafted code of conduct and code of ethics. Can you tell me a little bit about the key principles that you included in those?
Absolutely. So we found ourselves in a little bit of an issue last year that we didn't have any precedent or any statutes that sort of gave us any direction. And so I'm very proud of the council last year being able to navigate uncharted waters, obviously with the support of Brody and leadership and our friends over at USF. And so the core principles of that is sort of giving at least the code of conduct side is the standard that we expect our justices to maintain and uphold. A lot of it tends to be sort of impartiality and making sure that if there is sort of any abuse of power or any misconduct, that the cases themselves remain pure and that the decisions made there are just. So, and as far as the mechanisms for the disciplinary statutes go, that is just sort of formalizing our internal processes of sanctioning in any case that we may need to.
All right. Are there any more questions? Seeing no more questions, is there a motion? Carringle.
Motion to debate.
There's been a motion to move to debate. Are there any objections? Seeing none, we're now in debate. Metellus.
I personally will be voting in favor of this candidate. They seem well qualified for the position and show that they know their stuff. And I don't see any reason to not vote in favor of this candidate. So I encourage you guys to all do the same.
Shen.
I will also be voting in favor of this candidate. I think they perfectly know everything that is necessary to know. I watched the ENA caucus. I encourage you all to do the same.
Richmond.
Not only am I Daniel's biggest fan, but I have no doubt that he will be so good at this position. I've truly seen him grow as the external last year, and I can't wait to see him grow and grow the branch and make it even more ethical. I love ethics, and I can't wait to see what he does.
All right, seeing no more hands. Chair Takara.
Motion to vote.
There's been a motion to vote. Are any objections? Seeing none, we're now in voting procedures. All right, with a vote count of 37 to 0, Daniel Rivera is confirmed Chief Justice. Congratulations, Chief Justice Rivera.
Thank you, everyone.
All right. Moving on. We'll do, okay. Internal legislation, notice of legislation on first reading, none. Notice of legislation on third reading, resolutions, resolution 5604, resolution advocating for the inclusion of special circumstance and emergency funding information in class syllabi. Chair DeCara. You can go whenever you're ready.
Same thing as last week. It's just the same thing, but procedures just going through the third reading. I haven't changed anything. But I'm slowly getting the list together to send like a little draft email of sending out to everyone who I want to send to and where I should start first. Initially, I'm gonna probably reach out to the ELA regarding like D meetings so I can see that if this were to fully pass again, that going to these D meetings and talking about how could this, with their help, be implemented. I yield the rest of my time to questioning.
All right, we're now in line for questioning. Are there any questions for Chair DeCaro? If not, I'll take a motion. Hamid.
Move to debate.
There's been a motion to move to debate. Are there any objections? Seeing none, we're now in debate. Is there anyone wishing to speak in debate? Lazo.
May I retain? Oh, never mind.
You may.
All right, this is the same as last week. It's a really good opportunity and resources for students to have. Everybody can have an emergency in a spin of a moment. Urge you to vote in favor, and with that, move to vote.
All right, there's been a motion to vote. Are there any objections? Seeing none, we're now in voting procedures. With a vote count of 36 to 0 to 1, Resolution 5604 passes on third reading. All right. Resolution 5606, updates to Senate Rule 7, student Senate absences, LJR chair courts.
Okay, it's also the same, nothing has changed, so I yield the rest of my time to questioning.
We're now in line for questioning. I'm trying to get on the doc. Here we go. All right, we're now in line for questioning. Are there any questions? Metellus.
Motion to move to debate.
There's been a motion to move to debate. Are there any objections? Seeing none, we're now in debate. Is there anyone wishing to speak in debate? Metellus.
May I retain?
You may.
All right, well, seeing that nothing has changed with the legislation and it's still just as good as it was last time, move to vote.
There's been a motion to vote on Resolution 5606. Are there any objections? Seeing none, we're now in voting procedures. With a vote count of 33 to 1 to 2, Resolution 5606 passes on third reading. All right, Resolution 5607 updates to Senate Rule 6.04, Pro-Con Procedure, Vice Chair Varela. You can start whenever you're ready.
Yeah, hi everyone. This is the same that we saw last week. There's been no changes. Just so a quick refresher, it's changing the objection procedure to now allow 2 minutes of each senator to speak. That's the objector and the originator of the motion, rather than one. It's also building a maximum of 5 minutes of debate time into the procedure to give us all the chance to input our opinion on whether we should accept or reject the motion. And it's also simplifying the language so that we don't have to onboard new set of pro and con. That's really confusing. It confuses me, and I did the SOC. I've been a senator for a month now, so it just needs to be changed. I also just again want to emphasize it's nothing groundbreaking. It's just bringing objections into line with what we do with our other set of business that we vote on. So with that, I use the question.
All right, we're now in line for questioning. Are there any questions for Vice Chair Varela? If not, I'll take a motion. Hamid,
To move to debate.
do you have a question, Richmond?
Oh no, sorry.
Okay, there's been a motion to move to debate. Are there any objections? Seeing none, we're now in debate. Is there anyone wishing to speak in debate? Richmond.
I think I like a lot of this bill. There's only one concern, and I kind of want to hear a little bit more about it, is that this makes it from like a 2-minute procedure to a 9-minute procedure. And I don't think all of our time should go to like whether we should move on. I think 9 minutes is a lot of time to spend on it. So I think I'd like to hear more of y'all's opinion on how long the debate time allows it to be, because it's 2 minutes from each person for speech, so that equals 4 plus the 5. But I want to hear y'all.
Collazo.
Yeah, when I saw this piece of legislation, in LJR, I kind of had the same concern. However, keep in mind that it's a maximum of 9 minutes, not a total of 9 minutes. That is the most amount of time that can be used. So we might have an objection procedure that lasts like a total of 5 minutes and not the full 9 minutes. So it's just a maximum, and this will just allow for an adequate amount of debate, because I don't even believe in 2 minutes of debate. I did debate in high school, and having only 2 minutes to debate one side is kind of insane to me. So I myself will personally be voting in favor of this legislation. Yeah, and again, just to reiterate, it's just a maximum of 9 minutes. It doesn't mean the full 9 minutes is going to be used.
All right, is there anyone else wishing to speak in debate? If not, I'll take a motion. Lazo.
I was gonna retain motion to move the vote.
What'd you make the motion for?
Sorry about that. I was gonna retain, but we could just motion to move to vote.
All right, there's been a motion to vote. Are there any objections? Seeing none, we're now in voting procedures on Resolution 5607. All right, with the vote count of 31 to 2 to 4, resolution 5607 passes on third reading. All right. Notice of legislation on second reading, none, Senate forum. Is there anyone wishing to speak in Senate forum? All right. Seeing none. Senate deliberations. Is there anyone wishing to deliberate any business that we saw tonight? Or just anything in general? All right. Seeing none. Advisors report, Brody.
Hey all, not a lot for me tonight. I've been out of commission this week, so if you've sent me something or sent a request or emailed me this week, I will get to it tomorrow or next week. Yeah, that's pretty much all for me. I think Maddie's not here tonight either. She had another thing, so that's it from us.
All right, are there any questions for the advisors? All right, seeing none. Miscellaneous business. Okay, here's the fun part. Okay. Appointments. Okay, I hereby appoint Chair Quartz, Senator Banesh, Aile Alkuda, Senator Lim, Senator Hashmi, and Senator Patel to the Asian Pacific American Islander Caucus. Pacific Islander American Caucus. Oh gosh, I'm so sorry, guys. I forgot the American part in that. All right. I hereby appoint Chair Quartz, Senator Metellus, Pro Tem Morissette, Deleg Butler, Senator Banesh, and Senator Johnson to the Black Caucus. I hereby appoint Senator Banesh, Senator Johnson, Senator Urchetta, Ely Richmond, Senator Hall, and Senator Gumrov to the Disability Caucus. I hereby appoint Senator Banesh, Vice Chair Collazo, Senator Jimenez Valero, Chair DeCara, DeSir Lazo, Vice Chair Varela, Chair Hall, and Chair Vasquez to the Latin Hispanic Caucus. I hereby appoint Senator Banesh, Senator Jimenez Valero, DeSir Lazo, Chair Hamid, and Senator Green to the LGBTQ+ caucus. I hereby appoint Vice Chair Collazo, Chair DeCara, and Chair Caringle to the Military and Veteran Caucus. I hereby appoint Chair Quartz, Senator Connolly, Aile Alkuda, Senator Candeloro, Senator Jimenez Valero, Senator Lim, DeSir Lazo, Senator Hashmi, Ely Richmond, Senator Renda, and Chair Vasquez to the Women's Caucus. I hereby appoint Senator Banesh, Aile Alkuda, Senator Altahaj, and Senator Hall to the Arab Ad Hoc Caucus. I hereby appoint Senator Lipner, Senator Candeloro, Chair DeCara, Senator Kaufman, Chair Caringle, Senator Corelli, and Senator Green to the Sustainability Ad Hoc Caucus. And I hereby appoint Senator Banesh, Senator Johnson, Senator Gumrov, Aile Alkuda, Chair DeCara, Vice Chair Varela, and Chair Vasquez to the Intercampus and Transfer Ad Hoc Caucus. All right, just for the caucuses, I'll get a go on that tomorrow so that we can have our meetings set up next week. We'll be kind of the same setup as committees. Just everyone's going to pick a time for Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Unfortunately, we're pushed for those times just because of the university holiday. But I know there's already been some plans for things that the caucuses want to do, so I just wanted to get a go on this. But yeah, so just gonna look out tomorrow. All right, resignations. I hereby resign Tyler Borges from CRT. Danny's drip down. I don't think Danny's here. And then Jordan's joke.
Thank you. All right, guys. So today's joke is why couldn't the egg get out the joke? because he might crack up.
Okay. All right, next we'll do. Oh gosh, guys. Nice. Okay. We'll do Andrea's animal.
Okay. Literally just pulled up my camera roll, so this was unplanned, but I'm gonna choose my cat. This is him. Everyone say hi. It's my cat. I love him. Brody!
Okay. Andrea, your animals.
I have a form. I made a form, so I'll send the form in the chat right now so you guys can fill it out. But yeah, I'll send it right now.
Yeah, that's a good idea. Senator shoutouts. If you guys just want to drop it in the chat, and then Green. Oh, was my bad.
Okay. So for the animal of the week form, is it like fun facts about animals or like photos of animals?
Yeah, so you can submit I want pictures so I could put it in the agenda, but it could literally be like just an animal, like fun fact, anything, description, if it's like a pet of yours that you want to put, anything. So yeah.
Also, when I say drop it in the chat, I mean the agenda. That's totally my bad. The chat actually drives me nuts. But that's okay. Okay, if you guys want to put your senator shoutouts in there, that's good. But other than that, remember the debate is tonight at 9 p.m. Eastern time. If you're not busy, it's a good way to spend your time. But anyways, is there a motion? Richmond?
Yes, motion to adjourn the meeting. Pending final roll call. I'm excited.
Okay. There's been a motion to adjourn the meeting pending final roll call. Are there any objections? Seeing none, Chair Courts.
Lazo. Present. Rachetta.
Present.
Lessman.
Present.
Raleigh. Christopher Levine. Stephen Levine.
Present.
Lim.
Present.
Brissette. Kringle.
Present.
DeCara.
Present.
Butler.
Present.
Connolly.
Present.
Kumarov.
Present.
Hamid.
Present.
Hold on just a second. Kaufman.
Present.
Larson. Memory.
Present.
Present. Ellis.
Present.
Rose.
Present.
Hanun. Barrios. Hall. Atahaj.
Present.
Chauhan.
Present.
Naguib.
Present.
Wanjin.
Present.
Johnson.
Present.
Tell.
Present.
Eiderberg. Green.
Present.
Hendry.
Present.
Borges,
Here.
Alcuda,
Present, sorry.
you're good. Benesh,
Present.
Condoloro,
Present.
Plaza,
Present.
Fuchs, Jimenez Valero,
Present.
Hashimi,
Present.
Galbo,
Present.
Coleman,
Present.
Brenda,
Present.
Richmond,
Present.
Chen,
Present.
Barilla,
Present.
Vasquez, Lipner.
Present.
41 out of 48, quorum is verified.
All right, I also forgot to mention, if you didn't get a chance to join the caucuses, just the same thing for committees, you can come and go from them throughout the session as you please. But with that being said, I adjourn this meeting at 7:28 p.m.